A very eminent speaker for today's session, Ms. Swetapadma Mohanty, founder and CEO, Business Leadership League. Now let me take this opportunity to briefly introduce our speaker. Ms. Swetapadma Mohanty completed her BE in Electronics and Instrumentation from Berhampur University in 2006 and then in 2008 completed MPABM in Marketing from Symbiosis International University. She started her career in 2008 as an Associate Research Manager in IMRB International. Later, she worked with few reputed organizations such as Aditya Birla Finance Limited, Credit Analysis and Research Limited, Care Ratings, Feedback Business Consulting Services Private Limited, and then Bradstead Tangram Private Limited.
Dun & Bradstreet, yes.
In August 2016, she co-founded Sellsprout and worked as the head of operations for 3 years. In January 2019, she became the founder and CEO of Business Leadership League, which is a comprehensive membership program for aspiring businesses. Business Leadership League provides businesses access to an ecosystem where they can seek solutions to their business challenges. It is our honor and privilege to have such an experienced speaker with us. On behalf of VESIT-IIC, I would request Ms. Swetapadma to take over the session.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you. Thank you. I would want to first thank Lifna, who has been in touch with me since a week now, very, very meticulous in her follow-up and engagement. And I think my friend Anup Matre is your alumni and he referred me. So we are very close and we deal in the same circles, go to the same coaching. We also, so I want students to know that we also take personal coaching, we also go to business coaches, we also do assignments, and we equally work hard. I have, in terms of engineering, yes, I think after my engineering days, this is the first time I'm talking to a batch of engineering students, because a lot of, I have in fact taught sales and management, but everything has been in the management space. And all my impact series that I have done with others also have been with management students. So a very, very long time that I have ever interacted with all the technical students, engineering students. So I'm very happy. This takes me back to my engineering days from 2002 to 2006. And right after that, I did by management in Pune. So this is, I think, and Ria, thank you for the wonderful introduction. She has shared my detailed profile. So what I will do, I'll quickly share the slide with, I think I can share. Just give me a minute to share the slide so that, we could, I have only a couple of slides, just headlines, so that it guides us. Are you able to see my screen? Is it one? Maybe.
Not exactly. Maybe
one. I think this time you will.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see?
Loading, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So we can interact. I can hear the students. The students can also speak, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And also we can, I can also interact with the students on the chat window. I'm just trying to. So I would just want one thing that please feel free to post your comments in the chat. If you want to give me a feedback, ask a query anytime you feel. And at the opportune time, I would want to take up the question. Come up, unmute yourself, ask your question, share anything that you would want to. Let's keep this very interactive, so that all of us who are a part of this meeting now, we end up getting a new perspective. So the idea is, we call this, I'm a strong believer that whenever we come to a forum to discuss, and now that technology, virtual meets have made it so easy for us and have really enhanced in terms of getting access to each other. So we should make the best of these interactions, but always keep it a two-way process, because nobody is an expert, nobody is a speaker. All of us are here to learn from each other. And the set of right questions will trigger answers, and the set of right answers will trigger the set of right questions from the audience also. So let's do that. Can I get a thumbs up or a okay from all participants, all of you who are there in the session now, so that I know that all of you can hear me loud and clear? Okay. So I'll just quickly talk about Business Leadership League. So, Ria spoke about Sales Sprout. So that was something that was not a full-fledged company in itself. That was more a venture, which was I was trying to, and I was still working with Dun& Bradstreet, helping my current organization, helping a couple of friends do something where we were trying to set up a proper pre-sales process and help these companies. But Business Leadership League in 2019, so to try and understand what we do, so that you are able to put in context mein jo bhi baat karungi, what I speak and from where I am coming, you will be able to relate to me better. So Business Leadership League is an ecosystem. When we say, so we have created a community where startups join in, small and medium enterprises join in, and we help these businesses realize their potential. That what do you mean by realizing the potential? We help them to scale up. So when they are able to scale up, they are able to generate value. That's when they grow and they unlock their potential. They generate more and more jobs. They have budgets to spend, hire better talent. And so, when or obviously organization does well financially, it has budgets to allocate, it adopts new systems and processes, new technology, hires more people. So that is what that actually triggers the growth path of an organization. So do you know any idea, if I could get from the students? So what is can anybody tell me what is the number of registered businesses in the country? Small and medium businesses. I'm talking about Indian businesses which have been registered today. Everybody has a Aadhaar, GST number, and you have to have a Udyami Aadhaar and all of that. So I'm just talking about everybody with a proper license who has a GST number and all. Any guesses? I'm not able to see any comments. Why is it? So maybe Lifna or Ria, if you could help me with any comments, anything that I'm missing out on. So any guesses? So I'll just give you a number. It's around 6.5 crore. So that's the number of registered businesses in this country. Just imagine. And all the big corporates and all of that we talk about. So that is there. That's a very, very small portion. Around 30% to the overall GDP, but this is the sheer number of enterprises that we have. I'm talking about everybody, right from a solo entrepreneur to everybody who is employing and generating the employment and opportunities for others, paying taxes, contributing. So this is the volume we have in a country like India. And if we are able, I'll just put my phone on, sorry. Put my phone on silent so that nobody disturbs us during that. So, so you just imagine if you are able to bring scale and help these organizations become better and bigger, you imagine the kind of economy how powerful we can become as an economy, and this 5 trillion economy dream that at least our Prime Minister has put a number to, we can easily achieve it as a country. And in fact, you being in engineering, we have so many wonderful engineering companies, in various industrial belts all over this country, who are either, supplying or making components to very, very large companies, or they assembly components, they have some technology partnership, but there is so much they can do because these companies are really making rock solid products. They have R&D, but it's all about, giving them the confidence to come up with their own brands, to create products, and to also be able to deal in international markets. So this is what we help do. Our vision is to be able to do that. That's why it's very important, because businesses are the heart of what will take this country forward. So I think my introduction she has read. So I started with Indian Market Research Bureau, and that is where we work to understand what is happening in the market. So a lot of data is there in the market, and all these big brands, all the brands that all of you must be wanting to work today, and I was wanting to work when I was studying. One very important thing that you should know about your future employers is that data is gold, and it was always that for these companies from the start. And all the big companies, in whichever sphere you see, they invest a lot of money in understanding data, interacting with their customers, doing customer satisfaction surveys, going to the dealers, going to their stakeholders, and doing these and making sense of this data. And today, obviously, when I started my career, it was market research was the leading field, and that time data analytics and data science was just evolving. But today, it is fully evolved, and there is so much more that you can do with the data that you have. So tracking data, and in engineering also, if you get chance to do projects where you are able to look at information, make sense of that data, invest your time in learning some tools and techniques, I think it will be very helpful in terms of your career. Now let's come to our topic. So this is a just brief background so that you understand. So what is innovation? Before we get into and understand the process of innovation development, I want to understand, what is innovation according to you? What do you guys consider? So, define it in the way that you would want to. I would want some answers, some kind of responses from you. You could go and define something according to you, which is the biggest innovation according to you, or somebody, the biggest innovator according to you, anything. So what according to you can, or it is only technology innovation may ho sakta hai, or only product innovation can happen. So what is the definition of an innovation? That's very important, because wo right context, we understanding things in the right context is very important before we try and put a process to it. Yes. So Shlok, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Good evening, Shlok. Yes.
So, ma'am, I think innovation is using a hammer, finding a use for a hammer for something other than striking a nail.
Okay.
So, finding new uses for existing things.
Wonderful. That is one way of looking at it. True. What else? So this is one part of it. And obviously what Shlok is saying is very true. You are always looking at new application areas. That is one kind of innovation. What else? So, here I'm not looking for any wrong or right answers. Anything that you give is a perspective. Everything can be put in a perspective. Ria, yes, new ideas, production of something new. Okay. New ideas, right? And most of us, 90% of us always think innovation hai matlab kuch naya hai, which is true. What else? So innovation, anybody else? So innovation is also about new creation, but it is also about thinking of doing a little bit of what Shlok said, doing existing things also in a different way. Innovation is just not about, आपने एक नया product create किया, you have created some new state of art product. No, it's not only about that. It's also about how are you servicing. If you are doing something very innovative in servicing your existing customer, that is also innovation. So innovation is always not in form of a product. It can be a new service. It is in a new way that you deal with your customers. It is in a new way that you service your customers. Innovation of a company could be in its annual maintenance contracts, in its customer. Innovation can come from its customer service department and not always from the R&D, the research and development. So, innovation is all about understanding where the critical problem area is and how can you solve it. And see, obviously, when there is a problem, there is a solution, but a solution that is very practical, that can be adopted, and that can be taken to a large scale, which can be commercialized, makes an innovation feasible. That is when everybody relates to the innovation and it goes into everybody's life. Let's look at a few examples. You have to bear through my cough because I've been suffering from COVID, still getting better, but this was already in the calendar, so I could not not have turned for this event. Yes, okay. Okay, now what do you see on the screen? I've just put a few random things. Anything else? What do you see? So greatest innovation, I've just put a few things. There are many more. Century-wise, if you start seeing, for me, fire is the first biggest innovation. Any quick things? Do you agree? Yes. So Lifna, I can see you saying yes. So anybody agrees, anybody doesn't agree, and if anybody could tell me why fire? Aisa fire mein kya tha that, I feel it's one of the biggest reasons for us being where we are. Any quick guesses? Yes, Shlok.
Ma'am, I think fire is a innovation because the natural use of fire would have been to keep things warm, keep people warm, but then it eventually evolved to cooking, metalworking, all those things which are not intuitively use of fire, which cannot be naturally observed. But we figured it out. Okay, let's try see what happens when we cook grains on fire. Okay, it becomes more softer, more easy to consume. What happens if I put a lump of metal on fire? It becomes softer. So those are the things which are innovated by people. For the use of fire.
Exactly. So Lifna also put that in the comment. But Ismay, if you read this book, and I recommend this, read this book called Homo Sapiens. Maybe it's a very good book. So fire, so Homo Sapiens as a species, if we are ruling the planet today and all whatever we are doing, hamare evolution, and there were a lot of other species also, Homo erectus and all of that. We winning over and becoming the most powerful species also, maximum credit goes to fire. If you look at evolution, fire ki wajah se, what Shlok pointed out is that we could start cooking. What Lifna pointed out is we could start cooking. तो पहले ना raw जब हम लोग खाते थे, our digestive system used to take a lot of energy. So our body was very different. Brain was small and digestive system was the biggest because सारा activity, सारा concentration, सारा focus वहीं था. But जैसे ही fire आया and we discovered how to cook our food and things moved. So our digestive system evolved, and that is when human brains, Homo sapiens ka brain, that is when the evolution and development of the brain started. And that's what, and years of evolution led into having us this wonderful and most complex machine, which put to use can do miracles, and which not used is also bringing so much of misery to mankind. So that's why fire is a very, very important innovation. And metals, and yes, so if you see language, wheel, money, you can just go on and on. And money, so don't read this book called Psychology of Money. You all should read it at this stage, definitely, before you start even getting money in your hands. Nobody talks about money, which is so important. We see that money, when we talk about money, people fight and all of that, but it was the first thing that unified civilizations. That was the only thing common for people who traveled, and that brought in so many nations and civilizations together. That created, when people had a common exchange that everybody identified, that was money. So, and if you look at all these innovations over the years, countless innovations, what is common? What is common in all of these innovations? Any guesses? What is common? And you can, you're free to bring in some innovations. Obviously, like I said, there are many. I have not put all of them on the slide because we all know. And you could name some. But what is common between all of these innovations? The most common thing is that these innovations have affected all of us. Yes, true. So, you know, these innovations, yes, change the way of life. Yes, Akhil, exactly. The effect has been so much on us that in years and all of this. So if you look at the top innovations of 20th century, 21st century, all of us will relate. You will not find an innovation जो आप बोलोगे अच्छा ये भी था मुझे तो नहीं पता था, because it has affected our lives. And it has led to a lot of advancements as a race. And that's why all of us know, matlab, there has been no special paper, but the innovation has been so much a part of our progress as mankind that you and me know. The koi paper nahi tha, nobody has taught us, nobody has made us write an answer on this, but we all know. That's common between all the innovations. And so the last one, mobile phone, quantum, abhi to bahut artificial intelligence, and we are talking about a lot of things, you know, but why do you think mobile phone is the most recent, is the most powerful innovation that has changed this generation? All of us, so you know, all you youngsters who are going to see fantastic times, all of us who have seen that also when we did not have a mobile phone in our hands, and this, why do you think it is so powerful today? Why? Yes, connecting. So, Lifna, that to when you know you had these mobile, when you could talk to each other, tabhi that was happening. I am talking about smartphones. Chalo, not mobile. I'm talking about smartphones. Mobile phones, so theek hai. Why smartphones have suddenly? I think it's the biggest revolution. Why? Why do you think? Exactly. So when you talk about personal computers के साथ ही आ गया ना, we got access to information with personal computers. But unfortunately, personal computers were still expensive. Not everybody had access to a personal computer. एक personal computer खरीदने के लिए घर में you would want space, you would want all of that. But today you think about a smartphone. You have it. The person working as a house help has it. Your oldest generation, oldest person in the family is most hooked on it. So, you know, this is a technological revolution that has brought democracy, true democracy. Everybody has access to the same information at the same time. Does not matter where you stay. You stay in Bombay or you stay in the remotest area. All you need is connectivity, network. You know, and you want to voice your opinion, it does not matter. You don't have to belong to some big media, some big B school to voice your opinion. You can voice it. You have access, you can voice your opinion. And today, you know, so if you look at how that is changing also dynamics at household. Pehle kya hota tha? You know, it was always understood that the elders in the family knew it more. Experience, they brought in, but today it is not that. Family mein bhi democracy aa gaya hai. So now the older people in your family are also dependent on youngsters. Arey yaar, ye mobile dekh le. Why is this not working? Some new app, I'm not able to use it. Can you help me in ordering this on Amazon? So, you know, the young also suddenly the power equations have been balanced in families because you guys are so much better at understanding and adopting technology. So that is where innovations become powerful. So you look at the sheer impact of an innovation like a smartphone, which has given power to the last mile, which has taken it to your hand, to everybody's hand. Yes. And so any other examples that you want to give or okay, now let's come to this. This is very important. You know, so innovation, before we go to go into the process, I would want to spend some time on the mindset. You know, having come from this, so entrepreneurship or anything that you want to do, you want to start, or you want to work in your dream company, you want to have your own startup, any aspiration that you have today, and everything is fine. There is no right or wrong path. That mindset is very critical. That mindset will determine you being able to live and enjoy what you do. Because there is no defined success and failure. Things are changing. What is not so successful today will become a great success tomorrow. It's just being there and being immersed in the process. So what is this mindset? How many of you think mindset is critical to whatever achieving what you want to in your life? Can I get a show of hands? Yes, Sujata, Akhil. Please, all of you have raised hands. I'll quickly take a break so that I'll stop so that you guys can just come in one by one. Introduce yourself, which year, which department, and just say whatever you have to. We can go one by one. So some of you raised hands, you can go one by one and say, how many of you believe that mindset is most important, or you think any mindset kya hai, talent is most important? If you are putting in the required hours, you have all the access, ye wo ho jayega. What is mindset? How many of you understand the importance of mindset? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, it gives us, the mindset helps us to prepare that, saying that don't give up. Whatever might be the situation around you, just go ahead. Failures will come, we have to face it.
True. Exactly. So it's very important. So, innovation ho, entrepreneurship ho, you want to work tomorrow. I am assuming engineers, matlab, you would want to work with a Google. You want to work with an Amazon. So, so here your mindset will differentiate you, because trust me, if you are the best coder and you can write the best programs, there will be people, maybe you are the best, but tomorrow, trust me, with the kind of improvements that we are having in AI and all, tomorrow a machine will write it better than you. Any technical and specific jobs that need a lot of precision and minimum error, and today a lot of us feel that, yeah, I'm meticulous, so I'm so good, I don't commit errors. A machine will beat you fair and square. So today we are getting into a time where you have to be a generalist. Your mindset is your strength, not how good you can do something, because tomorrow a machine will come and take away your job. What happened in the industrial evolution, where a lot of manual jobs were taken up by machines, that is also going to happen in technology, where machine learning and AI is going to take up a lot of jobs that today you guys are getting paid off, or you have a career in the next 5-10 years. After those 10 years, a lot of these testing, coding jobs will go away to machines, because they will do it better and faster. So to innovate and to be successful in life, and see, innovation is at the core of everything. In fact, not only in terms of today, here the context is a product service in terms of whatever you in your career, and also in life, to stay relevant always, you need to have this mindset where you are always embracing new things and challenges. That is very, very important. And there is a lot of scientific data to show that, so you really become rigid. There is a lot of behavior pattern change in people when they stop learning and picking up new skills after a certain age. That is why it is recommended that after a certain age, you need to do pick up and learn some random things to keep your brain cells from degenerating. Empathetic, and you have to. So today the emotional quotient is also very important for you if you want to relate, if you want to be a part of things. Collaboration, the third thing that you see today, this is very, very important. So, Blue Ocean Strategy is a book that I recommend all of you read. That's very important. Please understand. Look at a cake. And how many of us are there? There are around 30 plus of us. So, uska pie, we have divided the cake into 30 pieces. Suddenly, I have the appetite. Or say I see a Manisha Mathur. She has the appetite to have a bigger piece. So what Manisha does is, she then cuts a bigger piece for herself and sabka piece chota ho jata hai. But Riya also has the same urge. But what Riya does is, she says that, okay, this is a 2 kg cake and this is giving me, but I want to eat more. So she ends up baking a 5 kg cake, which is a better approach, you think. Sorry, I think you are on mute. All of you can unmute. Unless there is some disturbance, you can unmute so that whenever you want to come in. So where do you think, in which team would you join? Would you join team Manisha or would you join team Ria?
Join Ria.
Yes, yes. So that collaboration is very important. Team Ria, right, Akhil? Because please understand, when as companies or as individuals you want to become bigger and be more successful, always work on developing the market instead of trying to take share from somebody. Doesn't help. Unfortunately, our society, our schooling, our education system has taught us from the beginning that because you are first in the class you are better because of so many people below you. No. And if you are in a class where you are always doing better than others, trust me, then you are in the wrong place, because there is no competition. Development, that overall development is not happening. It is just about maybe memorizing, putting a certain thing, so that really doesn't matter in the long run. And that is why so many academic successes are not so great when it comes to life success overall. So please understand working together, because all of us have very, very different skill sets. So when you also form teams, and if you look at the startup things, also look at the successful startups. You need people, you need thinkers, you need planners, you need executors. Unfortunately, a lot of people who can plan and think big cannot execute. ये सब साथ में नहीं आता. Some people are very, very small. छोटे छोटे micro चीजों में they are excellent. Some people are very good at the macro level. And you need a combination of these skill sets in teams to be successful. Tomorrow, when you join an organization and you are handed one of your team projects, when you work, you have a project manager, tomorrow you then take in people. You need to have people with different skill sets. एक टेस्टर का को बने in a coding ये बहुत अलग होगा, a product guy, somebody who will do the business analysis. So all these, so that collaborate, because see, if you can do it all alone, you will always win. You will always lose. Because even if you are the best in your job, the moment you are pitched against a team, it's a zero-sum game. You will lose against a team. So always start thinking about collaboration. How can you work with people, get the best out of yourself and against each other, and only compete with yourself. Persistence of learning from setbacks, that is very important. There is nothing like failure. These are all lessons. And the best way is that I say that, time is very valuable. Don't think that main hi sab galti karunga, I learn from my own mistakes. No, learn from the mistakes of others. Wise people do that. Read a lot of books. If you really want to learn from the life mistakes of others and key lessons, the shortest way to doing that is reading a lot of books. Today you have audio books, so many books, but yes, nothing replaces reading. If you can listen to audio books as well, but yes, reading is very, very important. Get inspired. This inspiration is also very important. So I'm sure you have business leaders, you have various leaders and people that you follow. This list has to go on increasing with time. Not necessarily anybody, you need to have spiritual leaders, people at work you idolize, personal life in your family, way people balance relationship. You should always get inspired. Read inspirational content, look at storytelling. And today we are in the world of stories, content is king. So also start working on the skill of storytelling. How do you express what you want to in the form of stories? How do you convey ideas? Tomorrow, when you are a project leader, when you are developing the best product to take your team, you have to emotionally connect with them, and stories connect. So all these things are and the most important thing is welcome and seek feedback from clients, from your team, peers. That constant loop of feedback, review and feedback is very important. And embrace experimentation and iterate. Please understand, everything is work in progress. Never get fixed to ideas. You should be very clear of what you want to achieve. That is most important. And that depending on how the market, customer, there are a lot of variables that will come and change. That is absolute okay. So in typical business terms, this is known as pivot. So, you have to pivot. That is absolutely okay. You should be clear. See, anything, a job that you take up, a project that you are doing, any project that you are working on, these are all instruments, these are all vehicles. So, a vehicle that you will choose on the roads of Bombay versus a vehicle that you will choose on the roads of Ladakh will be different. That's okay. The same vehicle will not work, but you should be clear कि आपको where are you starting and where you have to reach. And based on the requirement of the journey, you have to change your vehicles. So, so that kind of a mindset where you are very quick and adaptable to change, take feedback, change vehicles, change your path, that is very important. Very clear? Any questions till now? And then we go to the process. So mindset, I want all of you to work on your mindsets, to have rock solid mindsets. Because anything that you do in life will be full of challenges. That has been the case for everybody. The nature of challenges will be different for different people. But you should be strong enough to be, face all challenges and come out of them. So the only difference between a successful and not so successful company or person is all face challenges. The ones who rise stronger after challenges are the ones that we all know. And the ones who have all vanished after big challenges are the ones that we don't know about. Okay. So now let's come to this. And we will discuss all these 7 steps with examples and any questions that you have. And then, so, I will want to keep the last 10 minutes of question answer, but if we are interacting during the session, I think we will not need that also at the end of the session. We'll finish in time. So most important thing is problem identification. So, today you see a lot of, all of you, young minds, बहुत सारे ideas हमारे पास आते हैं. So how do you decide कि, should I pursue this idea? Is this idea good enough? Because every idea is crazy, every idea is innovative, every idea needs a chance. But how do you decide the merit of an idea? Please understand. Uske liye you have to understand what is the problem that you are solving. Once you understand that clearly, then you should come to idea generation. Please understand, whatever you pay for a product or anything that you see, it's known as hassle premium. Jitna bada hassle or problem आप solve करते हो, that is what your customer is ready to pay you. See, we all are motivated by only 2 things in life, pain or pleasure. We do half of the things to avoid pain or half of the things for pleasure, isn't it? Is there anything else that you do something for? To pleasure, matlab recognition, pleasure, satisfaction, comfort, or to avoid punishment, to avoid being criticized, to avoid all kinds. So these are the 2 things. These are the only 2 emotions that drive all humans, right? So please understand that what kind of problem. See, all of us have to deal with problems and challenges. But the thing is that you can be smart about picking the better ones. So you look at Elon Musk. Now let's compare a startup and let's look at Elon Musk. All of you know Elon Musk. He's the most popular guy. Everybody is following him today, right? And I'm sure engineering students would be all wanting, yes, wanting to work in Tesla or SpaceX or his electron company, so because his areas are fantastic. So, now, if you see, can you tell me what is the fundamental principle? If you look at all his businesses, what is the why? If you look at all his businesses, you will see a very clear why. Why he is doing what he is doing. That is very clear. That is it. Can anybody throw light on what is the why? If you look at all his businesses, what problem are they trying to solve? Anybody has thought about this? Okay. So if you look at all his problems, all his businesses, he wants to create an alternative for mankind. Right? Look at Tesla, matlab, getting rid of all the carbon imprints, or finding a place for you on Mars. Everything is around finding an alternative for mankind, saving mankind. So that is the kind of problem that he has chosen, the challenge, and that is the goal. You look at the complexity, and that is why all his businesses are huge. He has questioned every business model. Now, space mein jo aata tha, then the parts never came back. He fundamentally challenged that. Why not? So today, energy-driven cars, before Tesla came in, it was always thought to be niche and not in mainstream. It was never thought about doing that in luxury in mainstream segment. He challenged that. He's able to challenge the fundamentals because the problems that he has chosen to work on are huge, very clear in terms of what he's solving. So that is very important. Then, all the smaller things, already the puzzle falls in place where you are very clear on what is the problem that you want to solve. So, you could be so purpose driven and so much glued to what you want to achieve that everything else could become very small in the way. Or you could be so much ki aaj mujhe, yaar, my breakfast is not good, my teacher is not good, this book sucks, my parents don't listen to me, or these could be the problems that you're thinking about all the day. Or you could be thinking that, by so and so age, I need so many patents in my name. I want to start my own tech startup. I want to maybe have a foundation of my company. Maybe I want to have a team size of 5,000. So it all depends on what is the problem and what is that you are choosing for yourself. So automatically, that's the law of attraction. That's the law of focus. You start attracting only that kind of wonderful ideas and you stop working. Don't sweat over these small random things. Trust me, you're wasting your life and energy. So then comes idea generation. So, when you have clarity on purpose and what is the problem, then idea generation happens. So, how do you channelize idea generation? Any questions or any ideas you have? So, I'm sure all of you get a lot of ideas. You must have taken it to your family. Kabhi friends ke saath discuss karte hoge. You must be part of hobby clubs. You must be taking it to your faculty members. So how do you really channelize your ideas? And any examples where you thought, your idea was brilliant, but nobody understands, it's ahead of its time and all of that. Anybody wants to share an example here? Or any current ideas that you have that I would want to hear that you are pursuing? Please start doing that. Start documenting traffic congestion. Oh, yes, true. There is so much that can be done. Actually, we don't have a solution. Itna bada problem hai. Our urban planning is such a big problem and we have not found solutions. There's so much that can be done in this space. So idea generation, yes. When you are clear first, once you've decided what problem to solve, to uske scope mein, you can now start working on your ideas. And document each of these ideas. Because you may decide when at the initial stage, there has to be a certain number of ideas that you need to pick up and work with. And once you take them, you go to the third stage, then automatically wo filter okay, it will boil down to some key ideas. But it's okay to have a larger list. Then, do your analysis, seep and internalize those ideas, go and take feedback. And always doing a market survey, feedback is very important. Engineering syllabus mein nahi rehta market research, but it's a simple research. Today you have so many survey monkeys and so many tools online available that you can do surveys with, but do that. Feedback is always very important, and 30 is a statistically significant number, at least that you should get responses from, to know, what you think is not the right approach to things. Always, whatever you think, get it tested, get that hypothesis tested. Then it comes to the R&D phase. So how many of you want to really have careers in R&D? I have a lot of friends from my engineering friends who are working with excellent companies in the R&D, have a lot of patents to their name. But these guys were day one, say we all knew that they are going to end up in some R&D, R&D centers of some great companies, because they already had that mindset. And you could always find out these people from day one. So how many of you really want to do R&D jobs and to come up with a lot of patents to your names? How many of you have those aspirations? Okay. So, engineering mein R&D can be an option. for people who are interested. So ye research and development, when I say, that's when you work on your idea. So research and development, when I say, you think about a lab and all that, okay, theek hai, product mein wo hoga. But when it is a you are working on a technology software or something, that will happen on you are working on the coding and all of that. But otherwise, it's just not about a lab and all of that. Once you have got your best ideas, you have to now start working on these ideas and, trying to create a product or a service. What are the features? What are the benefits? And that is the next work. So that is when I'm talking about research and development. Because with this research and development comes, only once you go through this process, you come to your fourth, which is, have you heard this term? ये startup jargon में बहुत सुनते होंगे. Minimum viable product. Your minimum viable product has to be ready. Only when you do a lot of hardcore R&D, customer feedback, review, prototypes, testing, initial feedback gathering, then your minimum viable product. What is the product? I'm not always talking about a physical, it could be a service, it could be the software, the app that you are working on. And your minimum viable product ready hone ke baad is when you get your first set of users, who could be your friends, family, people from your known circle. Because that's the best way to test your product. People are there people who are initially subscribing and using, and what is the feedback that they are giving on what that you have developed? Because बहुत बार हमें लगता है, oh, what a fantastic product I have developed. But how easy it is, how intuitive it is for the users. How does it really help? What is the ease of use? All these things will determine, is my minimum viable product ready, or I have to, and obviously it will go through a lot of changes. But initially also, is the prototype at least ready? So once this is ready, minimum viable traction. How many of you understand this term? These are very simple terms. I'm trying to explain them in the most simple ways. Traction ka matlab kya hai? It's an English word. What is traction? So minimum viable traction is when you come up with an idea or something, a solution you have come up to, and then people are buying for it. When you see users using it, aap traction dekhte ho. Yes, yes, yes. So people downloading it, people using it, usage. Just can you tell me, let's do some GK. So tell me, which is the software or which is the app that all of us have in our phones, जिसका daily active usage सबसे highest है? Any wild guesses? No. WhatsApp. Yes, Lifna is right. WhatsApp. Not YouTube. So, daily, monthly average use, daily average agar use dekhe, 70% se zyada hai WhatsApp ka. Nobody comes close to it also. So, that kind of stickiness WhatsApp has. And that's why, I don't think there would be anybody who's not using a WhatsApp today. So alien, मतलब हम लोग तो अगर कोई बोलेगा I don't have WhatsApp, मतलब I'm sure the kind of looks that person will invite. So that is traction I'm talking about. कितने लोग आपका use करते हैं? How many people are downloading, how many people are using, and how many people are spending time? Please understand that whenever you work on a product idea or anything, make sure that repeatability, how often are people coming back to it? Because it really depends on what you are creating. Sabka frequency itna nahi rahega, but please always spend time on seeing that overall lifetime value is very high. Matlab your customer, your prospect will end up spending or coming back to you using that product, service or solution that you have launched for a very, very long time. Tabhi jaake that's a great product or idea. Because if it's just one time use, it's like a daily wage, daily laborer jaisa. Aaj aapne khoda, that is like government scheme. Aaj aapne ye gadda khoda, you get paid for it. All our government schemes, So वैसे हो जाएगा. No. But when it is a continuous process, where your customer is coming back to you again and again, and repeating and interacting, giving you feedback, that's when you know that there is a lot of traction and the lifetime value of your product is going to be very high. That's when it becomes a very attractive product or service. That is when investors will give you money. That is when government, your institution, everybody will invest money in your product idea. And so once you know that there is traction, then you go to market. So then आपका go to market होता है. Go to market typically when you design, here आपकी marketing, sales team सब लोग आ जाते हैं. You need a very large team. आपका communication क्या जाएगा? Who is your target audience? आप कैसे reach करोगे? How will you communicate? Social media, which social media, what platforms, what engagements? That's when you do all of that. You sit and work out that. And then the last and the most important thing is go to scale. A lot of products and startups that you see, they are able to go to market, but 6th and 7th stage mein 99% fail. The 1% that you see are the ones that are successful. So from 6th to 7th is the most critical stage. And can anybody tell me why? Go to market or go to scale में क्या है? Market में आप गए, you've commercialized, you are already there. So फिर उसमें when you want to scale up, why do people fail? क्या होता है? Please understand. Just commercializing and getting, selling your first few products is okay. That gives you a surge of excitement and all of that. But, to sustain it, to take it to larger markets. Yes, true. To make it profitable, per unit economics बैठे, it is profitable. लॉन्ग टर्म में आप एक्सपैंड कर पाओ, आपका सप्लाई चेन सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, आपके ऑपरेशन सपोर्ट करना चाहिए, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, योर R&D, योर सेल्स, योर मार्केटिंग, एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी अलाइंड फॉर इट टू स्केल. जब तक ये स्ट्रांगली नहीं होता, दैट्स व्हेन थिंग्स फेल. जैसे ही डिमांड आ जाता है, द मोमेंट you are doing 100 and you are doing fine, but to be successful you have to do 10,000. The moment वो 100 से 1,000 होने लगता है, that is when competition. Yes, Professor Nagananda, competition तो है, but that's when your competition starts eating into you, because there are a lot of loopholes that come out. आप time पे supply नहीं कर पा रहे हो, your supply chain is not effective, आपकी manufacturing में raw material का costs you have not worked out, you have not taken the unit cost economics की ये fluctuation होगा, ये material नहीं available होगा, मेरा supply कितने month का मैंने planning किया है, how many vendors am I dependent on. So all of these things, then everything becomes very important. You should contract manufacture, you should do it completely yourself. All these calculations, the cost economics. अच्छा, marketing खुद आप करोगे, social, what is the cost of acquisition per customer? Which are the mediums? How much should I spend in acquiring my customers? All these metrics, if you have not worked, obviously you will not be able to scale up. Right? Any questions here? I think I'll go. So, what are the critical parameters for you to see? We've already discussed this. So any innovation that you see or you are doing, see, sometimes you may be ahead of times and all of that. Ultimately, a brilliant idea will be recognized. Sometimes some things may take a little more time and all of that, but they will be recognized. But if you want to estimate and gauge your ideas, look at the magnitude of the problem that you've solved. Look at the value that you have generated for everybody. Customers, all the stakeholders, everybody, your employees, everybody. I'm talking from the business point of view, or today when you're doing a project also. If you take up a project in your college, all of you involved in the project, what is that you are learning? What is the college getting? Can you take this project and can it really help the college solve a problem? Can it be taken to students? Can it be taken to other batches? Can it be commercialized? So these are the questions. What is the value that you are generating? You think it's a fantastic idea and you and your team is happy. There is no value for others. Trust me, this is not going to the next level. It will just be a college project and shut and over after you. And widespread. So when it creates a lot of value, obviously there will be widespread adoption and use. Right? So today you look at all the unicorns, all the ones that are solving problems, all these things. So all of you have heard about this startup called Cred. How many of you have heard about Cred के बारे में सुना है? Where they're targeting the top 1% of credit card holders who pay their bills on time and all of that. So you can, yes. So you look at the business model of Cred. Wonderful business model. Now they are very, very clear on the target segment. And they know that how elite and how premium this segment is, and in the future what kind of money they can make. So they are building an economy in itself by catering to this community. And the fantastic thing about India is we are so big in terms of population. There is every small market in India is also a huge potential for you. So be very clear. Whenever you come up with an idea for a project or something, be very clear. And don't never think that sabko cater karega. Koi product sabko cater nahi karta. There is always a key addressable market. The market opportunity could be, but key addressable market kya hai? And usme that, so be very sure about the opportunity size. Who are the people who will adopt? Why will they move from X to Y? Why will they pay? What will make them use your product? These are very important questions. Some generalistic views on ye tha. So today, if you know the biggest thing that all of us know, nano, it failed because of these assumptions. You can't do assumptions in everybody. What assumption was nano launched on? That everybody who doesn't have a car and is having a two-wheeler would buy a nano. Did that happen? Nahi. Because when you are working on a product, you have to see ki segment mein hai. Is it catering to the aspirational value of the target audience? So all these, a lot of factors will determine the widespread adoption and use of whatever is coming into the market. So I think I'm done with but we can discuss a few examples. So a lot of examples come to my mind today. Any examples from the Indian startup space that you want to talk about? Any questions that you have? Any product or any startup or any innovation that you are keenly following and you feel it's wonderful? You should really spend some time understanding the digital infrastructure mein jo hamare country mein innovation hua hai. We are one of the best in the world. The kind of digital and online payment gateways that India has today, even US does not have it. And so it has really helped us to unblocking a lot of value. And it has created space for so many players. Pehle hame laga nahi ek Paytm hai, ye hai. Now you just look at the number of players that exist and all of them are so big. So overall market hi itna bada ho gaya hai. So this is a classical example of a blue ocean strategy. They have not killed each other to survive. They have in fact made the ocean so big and created a new ocean out of themselves where there is enough for each of them. You look at the food apps. So essentially you look at the food apps, or you look at the Nykas of the world, or you look at what Zomato. So all these are platform business models. They are all technology apps. And what they're essentially doing is at the heart of what we. So innovation, they're all very, very innovative. How? Because they are all connecting their stakeholders and bringing them onto a business platform where all the solutions are getting addressed. So, they're facilitating, engaging various stakeholders to engage and get their problem solved. That's why all of these are so powerful and they are doing so well. Because you look at the kind of problem that they have solved. Now, because of Ola, your taxi guy on the road was hit. So today, this is the nature of competition. You cannot think that, yaar, mera dusre taxi company se aayega. Now, Meru was hit. Meru was a cab company. Who's Meru's competition today? Not another cab company, a technology company. What is Ola and Uber? These are all technology companies. So please understand, that is the nature of technology. It is enabler. So all of you being engineers, and when I talk about not only software technology, when you go and work in manufacturing, theory of constraints, clean practices, there is so much more that we can do in Indian manufacturing setup. So, usme be curious and be hungry. and invest in the process. Trust me, success and whatever you want to achieve in life will follow. On thinking of isko 500 crore 5000 crore mil gaya, no, there are a lot of years of hard work and research and development that has gone before you see the story. So you please concentrate and enjoy the process. Results will come. Don't sit with Excel sheets thinking about what kind of figures. Start and do whatever in life for yourself and for your customers. Don't ever work on a business model which is only answering questions that your investors will ask you. It is not going to stay in the long run. All these customer models, business models, which are doing very well, are creating a lot of value for their customers.
Uh, yes, good evening, madam.
Yes.
I just, the thing is that the youngsters today have to deal with a lot of technological stuff, and there is a lot of technological innovations and destructive technology and incremental innovations, and how to
True.
handle technological obsolescence and how to identify it in the given area of your field of competence.
See, I'll tell you, obviously this is there, but the best part about this is today you have, so Professor Nagananda, there are a lot of these forums and groups
Okay.
beyond your scope of work, not only in your organization and all. So when you join a company and all of that, there are a lot of these clubs and they have, which is for idea generation engagement, which helps you know what is happening. Be a part of that, but nothing stops you from joining all these technology clubs, which are always ideating and working on what is happening. So essay forums, these community groups, you need to be very actively involved. You don't have to think, no, I'm excellent at my job and I'm doing a 9 to 5 job. I'm doing a 9 to 9 job and this is it. No. You have to be part of these changing things to know what is there in future for you.
One small request to you, since you have suggested a number of books to read also, I would be very, we would appreciate if you could kindly through mail or some kind of information.
I will
let
give,
us know. Let us know the books and such kind of clubs and where students can connect with and kind
Definitely.
of
Definitely.
to work in terms of networking themselves.
Yes.
For their own future.
True. And I think I would request all the students also, reading is very, very important. I'll give you, and you can always find out the books that not only your subject matter interested, but books generally which keep the curiosity alive in you. It's very important to read. It gives you a lot of perspective. And also take part in activities like this, and try working on internships. Sometimes your college has mandated internships, and if you still think you can take up projects and still do your college assignments and all of them, and you can pursue, you can get paid for it. Trust me, nothing will teach you more than what an internship will. I'm not saying that go and do it in a company where you'll just get an experience certificate. Never take up such internships. They do the most misservice to your career. Take up work in good projects where you may be able to give a couple of hours, but you will really learn some solid work. And there are a lot of tech firms who will be willing to take you as interns to work on some live projects, to give you some testing work. Just be hungry, and please get involved in such live projects wherever you get an opportunity. And there are so many sites for freelancers. And while you are studying, you just work as freelancers, learn some experience. That's how you will know. Just by doing a course or getting a certification, putting it on your resume is not something. The realities are very, very different. So I strongly recommend internship and freelancing work to make your CVs and be very industry prepared, I would say. I think this is all done. My quote for the day: there's no shortage of remarkable ideas. What is willing is the will to execute them. So I think, as youngsters said, Godwin, I don't know how many of you have read him, is a great marketing guy. But I also strongly believe in this. So, once you are determined, committed to execute, then your ideas really can work wonders for you. A lot of times it doesn't, because ideas just die at the idea level. A lot of people don't have the commitment to see them through. I think I'm done. And yes, Lifna, I think yes, 5 minutes late ho gaya, but any questions, anything, I am done from my end.
Thank you, ma'am.
I will share whatever Professor Nagananda said. I'll share some resources, some podcasts, some books, some research materials, some clubs where communities where students can be engaged based on if they find them interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Fine.
Ma'am, since there are no questions in the chat box, we'll proceed with the vote of thanks. So, Ria,
Yes,
can you please
sure.
Yes,
take it
ma'am.
ahead?
On the behalf of VESIT-IIC, I, Riya Shukla from Department of Computer Engineering, am honored to give the vote of thanks for inspiring talk on Process of Innovation Development by Ms. Swetapadma Mohanty. It has been very encouraging for all of us present here. We are thankful to Ms. Padma for taking out time from her hectic schedule to be with us today and enlighten our knowledge in the process of innovation development by highlighting the points like innovation mindset and what exactly innovation is, the process of innovation development, also the critical parameters in innovation development. Thank you, ma'am. Also, I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. J.M. Nair, Vice Principal Dr. Vijayalakshmi, HOD of Computer Engineering Department Dr. Nupur Giri, Vice President of VESIT-IIC Dr. Nadir Charnia, and convener of VESIT-IIC Dr. Gresha Bhatia ma'am, for without whose initiation this would not be taken place. And I would like to thank all the VESIT staff and scholars for being present here to make this event a success. And I would request participants to fill the feedback form for generating certificates, and link will be shared in the chat box.
Thank you, thank you. So many doctors, when you come to an educational institute, all are doctors only. You get intimidated. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, Lifna. Thank you, Professor Nagananda, and thank you, all the esteemed faculty members.
Yes, thank you, madam.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
ma'am,
much for,
for the quality.
and we all wish that you get well soon and
Thank you,
be
thank you.
back
I
to
am
normal health.
recovering. I am recovering. Yes.
Yeah. It's a real inspiration to know that in spite of all that, you took so much of your time and energy. It really requires a lot of energy to, as such, talk for about an hour. We can understand that, and with all the thing that has happened, you still took time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Most welcome. Thank you, everybody.
It would have been very easy to postpone it, but then you decided to have it today.
So like I said,
That's the
I think this is
inspiration.
something that all of us have to learn. Once you commit something, don't do it till the moment you can stretch yourself and do it. Say a no or postpone something only if you know that you cannot do it. That is a commitment that you have to show always. And starting from
Thank you,
today
sir.
as a student.
No, you proved it by an example. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Done. So, Lifna, I'll take a leave.